we back, man. We back. Thinking Mindz podcast. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, checking out the Spotify, the YouTube, all the fans, anybody that's commented and things like that. I said we was going to start up a little list, you know what I'm saying? So we got some duties to do, you know what I'm saying? I take full responsibility for that. But be looking for the group also, the Thinking Mindz group. We're going to start a group for the special fans that like to follow us and things like that. This show is sponsored by Holy Water All Natural Products, WHOLEE water.com. Get your sea moss and all that type of stuff. We got a special guest today.
Yes, we do.
Clap it up one time. Hold on. Yeah. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Chol. It's like Jewel, but with the CH. And I'm really excited to be here, and I just can't wait for what I got in store for me.
Most definitely. We're excited too. Disclaimer before we get any further, we're not here to hurt anybody's feelings, any gender, races, things like that. You know, people are going to get hurt either way it goes, but that's just kind of a disclaimer. We're not here intentionally doing anything to hurt anybody. This is just our perspective. We want y'all to think more. Thinking is free. Take time to think at least once a day, you know. We'll go around the room real quick. Who I got over here?
Answer to the question, to be or not to be. It's your boy meant to be.
Most definitely. Hold on, we got another good guest too.
And, you know, this is my princess, Aria. She's my daughter, and I'm watching her for today, so please just be patient with her.
Yeah.
Mark Whitey Pines Wood at KY Whitey.
Most definitely. And I am Max C. Don't Sleep. So like I said, man, we got the special guest. You want to give a quick introduction? Where you from? What do you do? Just a little, enlighten us a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So again, my name is Chol, and I'm from South Sudan. I've been here in the United States for 24 years. My family, we came as refugees back in 2000. And I just been in a great area where after college, I got to start working with refugees and immigrants. So sort of like my own community. So I work for NICE, Nashville International Center for Empowerment, and we are a resettlement agency, and we work with refugees and immigrants out of Nashville and Gallatin, Tennessee.
That's pretty dope. So going back, South Sudan, where is that actually for the people that don't know?
For the people that don't know, so South Sudan is in Africa. It's in East Africa, so near Kenya, Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt.
Africa is not a country?
Believe it or not, Africa is not a country. It's a continent, y'all. A continent.
Yeah. Okay. So what's it like there or being from there? You have family still there?
Yeah, I still have family. A lot of my family is in Ethiopia, Kenya, and still some in South Sudan. But we're a little spread out, and some here in the U.S., some even in Australia. It's crazy.
What prompted y'all's move to the States?
So in the 1990s era, even 1980s, there was a civil war between North Sudan and South Sudan. So before separation, we were one country, and then in 2011, that is when we had a referendum rally that was voting for separation or to still be together.
Okay. You got something for it?
What is South Sudan differences from the East and the West type? Like, what's the difference between you and us?
Okay. If I'm understanding correctly, what's the difference between East and West?
If we got first time viewers, tell them where you're from.
Yes.
Well, I'm from Liberia, you know. Like this flag color but one star. So we are differently, like flag wise, you are like green, yellow, and something like that.
What's the distance between Liberia and Sudan?
Countries wise, I think maybe like 6-7 countries in between.
Oh,
right? So
more
how
than
would
that.
Would that even be covered in the States? Like,
would that be like Canada and Mexico?
No, not that far, distance wise. No.
So more like Cali and Texas.
Cali and
like maybe Cali and Tennessee,
Tennessee,
honestly.
yeah.
Cali and Tennessee. Because like Kenya, which is right underneath South Sudan, it just by flight, it's like 2-hour flight, maybe like an hour 30 flight. So it's pretty close. But Liberia and South Sudan, I definitely say, because like
about 2,800 miles.
okay,
So
2,800. Okay.
hang on.
And so with this question, what's
It's
the
strange, right?
So the difference between y'all two is like East Coast and West Coast, like New York. He's more
Way
New
more than
York-ish. Way more. No, I'm talking about culture-wise.
East Coast and West Coast is like Niger and Liberia.
It would be California
Like,
to
but
Pennsylvania.
there's, like,
And Pennsylvania. Okay, yeah, I
different-
knew it
that's
was
the
yeah.
difference.
Okay.
different like races. It almost seems like
You know, it's
like maybe like you would say like Hawaiian and Mexicans. Yeah, like sort of
Yeah.
like you
Like-
you at, yeah, no, I'm saying like that's the distance race wise.
Yeah.
It's like we might look alike,
yeah.
but like we
Like,
are
I mean,
that
even-
different.
I would say like so.
What's the languages you speak natively? Like
So my native language, I guess my tribal language, would be Nuer. So there's different,
what would yours
different.
be?
Baso.
Baso, yeah,
So if y'all run into each other, what would y'all have to speak to communicate?
English,
like everybody else.
Yeah. English.
Yeah.
But where he's from is more American.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. A
And
lot.
where you're
Yes.
from is like way more
African.
Yes.
Yes.
A matter of fact, there's this stereotype. Again, there's no truth to it. It's just a stereotype that
Disclaimer.
West Africa is so like westernized
Yeah.
that some people say East Africa is where the culture is.
Oh, man.
That's what people say. But hey, I'm
Liberia got the best food. So.
so we
because we talked about bleaching being a big part of African fame
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
West Africa, yes.
especially
What you
West
mean?
like
Africa.
Michael Jackson.
Especially West Africa.
Bleaching their
in my
skin?
nation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
bleaching
my
their skin.
nation, we got people there that trying to be white. Oh, yeah.
It's so
We got people over here that try to be black.
That's what I
white
said.
people. You know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
like,
So-
the white people is tanning themselves.
yeah.
I don't
It's-
think that they are trying to be African blacks, though. Right? I think they are trying to get, because I tell you all the time that yo are just white people coated with dark skin. You know, that's how I see it. Yo are farther from us than you are from him.
Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah,
Because that kind of just hit me.
No.
What?
Black people in America.
Black people
Americans
are white people
are white
covered
people
with black skin?
Yes, it is.
Nah, fuck
Y'all are
that.
melanated
Wait,
white
you
people.
got me. I don't
Yeah.
hold on.
Like,
Nah, over here we
yo,
niggas.
Yo is way far from
Yeah.
me. Like the way
What?
that we are far.
Say that to
yo
the
are
judge.
farther. Right? Ooh,
What?
The Omar needs to
Oh.
the Omar needs to hear. He's way farther from me. He's more. He's like a white dude.
I know what you're saying
Well,
though.
Well,
Because
I'm
with
saying
dark
like they've
skin.
been disconnected. I can say that for sure.
but
If
also,
they got skin, they get sunburn.
yeah, but it is true because I think also African Americans also you go back. I guess when slavery and things like that.
Yeah.
There was mixture being done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Willingly and unwillingly.
Yes.
Being bred but now it has hit like Africa also.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Where Africa or Europe or anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean,
that,
Italy and
like,
Ethiopia. So like
Do you
there's
think
a
that
lot
my
of
baby's ever gonna be able to produce a fully white, a black African?
See,
Well, all
you're
right, so-
part of the
but-
problem.
So what? But what does that?
I didn't want to say nothing.
What does that mean
I
though?
didn't
Like
wanna say
why
anything.
is it? Is it just?
So is bloodline a thing anymore?
That's what I'm saying. Like why is culture?
In their culture, I believe it's more that
Oh, yeah,
than
definitely.
it is in ours. Like
Definitely.
especially in my tribe, Baso, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the nation was already like, in my nation was already looked down upon
Yeah.
as like the lesser race because we allow ourselves to be mixed with the black slave that left from here and
Yeah.
went. We were already like the first people that got mixed,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
people are like, no, there are some like, I'm sorry, I know you're sleeping. But there are some culture there that refuse. I know some African men
Yeah.
that would not date any other color,
Yeah.
but from that tribe, their own people, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Versus us, we've been
Definitely.
looked down upon. So,
That is very, very true. Very, very
but
true.
if there is a real, like she said, cultural place, it's still in the east side of places. I'm taking like the East, Zimbabwe, those kind of places
Yeah.
still hold the true Africa.
Yeah, now that is a stereotype. You know,
Yes.
nothing
No, it's
official, but it is. There is some truth in that stereotype for sure.
Okay.
Let me ask you this: when was your civil war?
Our civil war for Sudan, for Sudan to become a country.
Wait,
You said y'all broke apart.
Yeah.
Yes. So Sudan was one country at some point, like when we broke from I guess British rule, but then most of the northern Sudan is a lot of Arab influence and like Muslim, Islam is like the main practice religion. When they were trying to, I guess, indoctrinate Sharia law, the southern part was not going for that. So there was a lot of different.
What were they? What was the southern?
The southern part was mainly like Christian or animist, so it was just.
And that was introduced by the British Empire. Obviously, when did they colonize or whatever?
So we gained our independence, I believe, in 1876. I could be wrong on that, but that is when there was not as prevalence of British rule. But we still had missionaries coming until early 2000s, still coming into our region. And most of the time they would come to the southern parts because the northern had Islam, like the prevalence of Islam there. So some were even persecuted for coming to the north.
It just sounds like that, like Christianity and Islam, like there's always been an outside religious influence on that part. Like what was the religious influence before anybody from the outside came?
Before, I would say a lot of worshiping the ancestors. So I'm Nuer. So a lot of the Nuers believed in Mundang, and that was our leader, our god to us. So it was just really worshiping the ancestors.
Mundang. Now, was he like a demigod, or was he just kind of like somebody that actually lived that y'all look up to? What?
I don't know if I would consider him a demigod because he did live on Earth. So I would say maybe a prophet.
So that's a demigod would be somebody that came down as a human.
As a human, right.
Multiple religions have that. Christianity has it.
Jesus was not a demigod.
By definition, he was, though.
No, a demigod.
He was a god as a man. That's a demigod.
Well, a demigod has to be another god has to see. Like Christ was not seated. Like a demigod has to have another god have sexual intercourse with it.
Well, if you believe in the Immaculate Conception, all right. But Hercules was a demigod. He was the son of Zeus.
And he would come down.
Jesus was the son of God.
God didn't come down and do something with Mary. That's the whole thing with the demigod. There has to be like a interaction with the other guy.
So
Christ was a miracle, I would say.
Well, they call it the Immaculate Conception, but that's
It sounds much better than a demigod. Okay.
Hey, said no disrespect.
whichever, right?
Respectfully. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely,
So
definitely.
so the cultures, we touched on that kind of and stuff like that. I guess we can kind of get into kind of what you do. The basis of what you go in and do daily.
So what I do daily is that I work. I'm a program manager for our refugee resettlement program, and what that is folks who have already been given legal entrance into the United States. Those are who we serve. So it's under the Homeland Security. They have two different offices. One is ORR, Office of Refugee Resettlement, and then you have PRM, which is Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migrants. So those two, PRM is the office that really dictates okay, how are these refugees like moved throughout the United
Sounds
States?
way more organized than what is going on
Oh,
at the
definitely.
southern border.
Definitely.
Do you think, as Africans, us come here, does it require more from us than any other kind of immigration group?
I would say so. I definitely would say so. So like if when we talk about the crisis in the southern border, right? These folks are, this is their last resort. Like they're not able to.
They showing up on foot with
right, and they either they don't have the means, like the financial means, to go the legal process, or the legal process takes too long. Right, so and it's not just so the folks that are coming through the southern border are just not like Hispanics, right? You're getting a lot of different nationalities, even Ukrainians, until the United for Ukrainian program had like opened up. That some of them were coming through the southern border, so it's not, you're not just seeing Spanish like folks from Mexico coming through the southern border. You're seeing a lot.
No, that's what they show us.
Yeah. But they take the blame because it's through the
right,
house.
right. They take the blame for sure.
They are going like I've told people in Africa that still tell me, say, I want to come to America. I said, you want to come to America? Don't try to fly to America. You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Fly to Mexico and you get a better chance of coming there than literally you thinking that we sitting here and being able. That's how hard it takes for us to get it. And I feel as if like, and people don't understand that like we can't just get up. African man can just get up and say, you know, I'm going to go take a chance. Yeah. And go jump over a board and see if I'm going to go get it.
I mean, you have.
So in Africa, I don't want to jump off subject, but in Africa, is it a thing to be in America? Like, is it a thing that like in Africa, there's a lot of people in Africa saying like, waking up like, man, we need to get to America. Is that a thing? Would you say like half, 50% of people, 20% of people, or is it a thing?
I would. That's a really interesting question. That's a very, very interesting question.
Because I used to say, right, that if you took a visa and take it to my nation, everybody in there will replace, like they'll literally pack up and leave. Like one, but that's my nation, because we have been through so much war, so much of like there is barely anything left. Yeah, that I know the people then will be willing to take a chance here. Yeah, then take a chance there again. But I don't know if that's the case.
No, that is the case. Right now in South Sudan, we are still there's a thick presence of tribalism. Right, and genocide is still prevalent there. So you have a lot of tribalism. When I say tribalism, I'm saying like between ethnic groups having strife between them and not getting along. So tribalism. So I wouldn't compare it to prejudice or racism because it's within one race, but it's definitely very prevalent.
Where does most of that stem from? Not to cut you off, but like before you go on, like where does this come from? The conflict.
Majority of the conflict has to do with government power, money, greed. I think that's or inheritance.
Like, family don't like this great group of people, and we would never like you. It doesn't matter who it is, what year it is.
Yeah, definitely, and it's like more than family because it's within like these different ethnic groups. So in South Sudan, the largest ethnic groups are Dinka and Nuer. And those two groups, for some reason, just it's not to say they don't get along, because the people, like the actual people, may get along, but the folks in power do not get along. And that's where it causes a lot of like the strife and the division, where there's 64 tribes in South Sudan. Like, so the smaller tribes really don't have a problem, or they're not giving a place to be able to address their issues. They don't
have a platform.
Right, they don't have a platform. So the two, they have a platform, and they're the ones that is causing a lot of these issues, So that is like the stem of tribalism in South Sudan.
So when I asked that too, I know we had talked, and I think I talked to Mentor about it. I had a friend named Lewis. Shout out to Lewis if you're watching this too. You know what I'm saying? He moves around, but he had won the lottery in Africa.
Yes, yeah.
And the lottery is citizenship to America. Yeah. And so like,
I wouldn't say citizenship to America is a ticket, right? Is it?
It's not citizenship, but it's a ticket. So
just your ticket to come here.
I think they do give you your green card, and then you have to work through the process of getting.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Lord, that is the lottery.
And see, that's crazy because to us, money is lottery.
Yes.
Yeah.
You hit the lottery, we looking for money. Like if they was to give us a pass to Africa or Australia,
you'd be like, what? Yeah,
what is $1 million? Like, so
go ahead and give me the money.
Shows, right? Like the difference of like just mindset.
Whoa.
And
so you're telling me that in our mind, the equivalent to come to America is worth like $99 million.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
No, seriously.
Wow. If
I
they
mean,
give an American, hey, you just won a lottery, to they'll be like, that's like getting $10. Why did you just give me $10?
To us, money has, and I'm just saying this. I'm not speaking for all Americans, but money has took over everything. There's still places in the world where people are like, being free means more to me, or being able to just wake up in the morning and take care of my family means more. To us, like it's like we got all these things, and it's still like, like this ain't enough.
Like, give me more.
You know what I'm saying? So you know that's why I tap in, like talking to people from different places and stuff like that, because like we don't appreciate shit. No.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just being real. You do have some people that are doing real good things for people here. But when it comes to a daily basis of just getting up, people are just like, don't appreciate nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so just to know, like, when I hear that somebody hit the lottery for citizenship or green card or ticket, to America, that's like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a lottery.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, go ahead. I don't know.
But she said it was like, how many people, like, at one time?
So, the past U.S. visa lottery, I believe the entrance was up to 80,000 could qualify, and it's at random, right? For last year. Right, or for they would be granted in 2025, but like it opens up like each year. I don't know if they do it every 2 years or how often, but they give this said number, right? This is the allowed entrance into the United States, and it's just at random that they choose these people, and it's like,
who chooses?
I don't know which bureau or which organization actually holds this, if it's USCIS or if it's like, Homeland Security. I'm not quite sure which agency does this, but they give this lottery to where folks from different countries, and I think they have like a certain list of countries that could qualify, and they just apply, and they're just at the will and mercy of the lucky draw. And then they can come to the U.S.
I do gotta say, like, I don't know if it's completely random, because like Trump made a comment about we used to select the best of the best. We used to choose, literally, we used to go, and I say that because when I play sports here, right, Cinex has the right to
picked
recruit,
you because he was one of the best.
I definitely,
I'm just saying, no, I was not chosen. I was actually a refugee that actually got to come through on a luck.
Yeah.
In fact, I have told many people that there are better people that I grew up with that could have much better, would have been doing better here.
Yeah.
I had a better ideas of life here than I did. So mine is literally pure luck. I'm one of those people that got luck and made it here.
Yeah, I think so for the lottery program, the U.S. visa lottery, I think it is one luck, but also extensive, because once you apply, like you applying is just putting your name into the bid, into the draw. Yes. And then after that, once they select folks, there is a screening process, right? So I do think once they screen you and they're like, oh, I don't know.
How many applications come through?
I do not know for certain. I know that
it's not 81,000 though.
No.
It's way more than that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think so what they do, so for 2025 entrants, like folks to come in 2025, their visa lottery application just closed in September. Right. So it takes a whole year to sort of like do this vetting process.
So if there's a man and he has a family of, what's the average number in a family over there? 5, 6?
Yeah. Let's say 8. Let's say 8.
8. All right. So does he have to file for each member?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like,
so it could just be
like
one
my
person
dad,
out the family.
Just me.
Well,
just
I mean, let's say if you like one person got that lottery, then they would evaluate it. And there is like when you're applying, there are some that say like, are you applying as an individual or are you applying as a family? Yeah. So that does like skew the numbers around. Like when we talk about refugees, right, coming in, right, these are folks who have lived in camp. Some have lived in camp for years, even decades, right? And what they do in camps is that they are registered, right? So they know exactly how many people are in the camps, and you get these like what is it? I don't want to say food card, but like you get this card that will show your identification for the UN, and those cards will like every 2, 3, 5 years, they're evaluating these cards. Maybe if you had a death while in camp, they'll remove that name from the list. If you had a child, they'll add them to the list. And then at some point, because again, they're doing it by the U.S. system. So if a child becomes 18 while you guys are still in camp, they will put them on their own registry card.
So you work with the people that come straight out of the camps?
Yes.
And assimilate them. So, like, over here, we got a term, we call it being institutionalized.
Okay.
So, if you've been locked up for a certain amount of time or anywhere, you can become institutionalized. Mm-hmm. I would wager that if somebody's been living in a camp for years, they're somewhat institutionalized. Have you seen that to be like an obstacle for somebody to assimilate them into society, coming straight from a camp, putting them on the streets?
Definitely, yes. And when you say institutionalized, I guess for us, the more digestible term would be resettlement, right? We are like, our program is called reception and placement. So we are not only just placing these folks, but we're resettling these folks and sort of adjusting them into the like U.S. Yeah, like
a halfway house type.
If that's what you want to say, yes.
We have moms here, right? That come here and they just spend that day in the living room because they don't know what to do outside of the door, right? Yeah. Like they don't have like the great English to go out there and get a job. Everything is not ready yet. Like they save on the TV, they watch the TV, they get that news from the TV, from their friends, they make the phone call. Like I have people there that say, "Oh, I work out right in front of the TV. I do my exercise here." I know that. I've had people that ask me, "Would you bring your mom here?" And the question I get is like, I don't want her to lose hope of heaven. Yeah. So I don't want to bring her here. If I bring her here, she would now believe that it got to be heaven or nothing else. Yeah. Like America was supposed to be like that idea of, you say resettlement for everybody, even as a refugee, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard.
No, it definitely. Especially individuals who only know camp. Like there are some regions where individuals are able to go outside of camp. Like they're able to go into the city, or their camps have good education where they can learn English to a degree, where some camps they're just in camp and they don't see nothing else besides camp. So you bring them into the United States, and then our program, the program that I mainly work in, the reception and placement, is a 90-day program. Like we are like basically holding their hand. Like we are like giving them cultural orientation. We're finding them housing. We're helping them get like state Social Security, state ID, work permits, all of those things. And we're to a degree telling them like, hey, okay, this is the US. This is how things are done. These are the laws. This is what you can and cannot do. You need all these documentations to be able to work. Then after 90 days, we're like, okay, we're going to help you with rent assistance. You know, you can qualify for other government programs because you're low income. And then once they get a job, we're just like, okay, you're not American, but here you go. Like self-sufficiency is the key.
We got to start the process.
Then we got to start the process again.
Okay, so yeah, we gonna take a quick break.
I got one question before we take a break. Come
I
on.
already know. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break real quick because I got the big questions too. You know what I'm saying? Going into the refugee. Yeah. So stay tuned for the part 2 of this. This is a great show right here. So make sure y'all stay tuned for the part 2. Yeah. Think of Mindz podcast. Taking a break.